Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Friday, February the 21st, and we're here to look at new releases that have been published this week. On Friday, it's Freeform Friday because Monday through Thursday, we are looking at separate genres. Cozy mysteries on Monday, and crime fiction and thrillers on Tuesday, romance on Wednesday, and fantasy and science fiction on Thursday. Friday, being Freeform Friday, we look at whatever we want to. So either it's leftovers from earlier in the week, or it's just other books that have caught my attention that don't necessarily fall into those categories. Good morning, Elena. I will see you next Saturday afternoon, and we'll be here next week if I'm not tired. Well, that sounds like a good plan. I look forward to that. And you are good. I was just about to ask. You anticipated me. I'm glad to. Sounds like you're all over your cold. That is very good. Good morning, Mary. Happy Friday, TGIF. How was your day, Mary? Did you take 5 hot showers? I would. Oh, that makes me happy. Well, we don't have a whole lot to look at today. And Elena says, hello, Mary. Quick announcements. I do have sprints tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. I don't do them tonight, Friday night, but tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. and those go for 5 hours. So 3 times a week, Tuesday and Thursday evenings for 2.5 hours. They start at 8 p.m. Eastern, and on Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. My day was warm, lovely. A second morning waking up to a warm house, hot water, etc. Heavenly. Oh, it's like a brand new house. Any shows coming up, Mary, or anything going on this weekend? My plans are to crochet like crazy. I would love to just be done with the wedding blanket for Randy and Jefferson, so I can get that to them. I probably shouldn't be going as all out crazy as I am because it probably will be getting there after the wedding. I will do my best to maybe ship it next week. That would be great. I've got a week. Elena says, I will take a shower today and shampoo my hair. That sounds good. And I will shampoo it every 2 days next Thursday and Friday. Tuesday and Friday. That sounds like a good schedule. I do mine usually every other day. But now that it's getting longer, it's getting a little bit irritating. But I am determined to grow my hair out a bit. Were they able to fix your hacking problem? Sure hope so. I hope so too. So yesterday I wasn't on the computer very much because our cyber guy, Nathan, just scrubbed my computer clean, went to zero, took everything off, and only put on what I need, which is only a couple programs. And so hopefully, and put in like extra layers of email protection. We have not only a good firewall, we also have an extra shield in our email, which is where the person is seemingly to access our stuff. And Elise says, that's cool. Oh, good. Today, he's going to work on our service computer and salesperson computer. But since mine was the most recent accessing point, mine got the scrub the last 2 days. So I'm really going to have a cyber security protocol and not do as much surfing as I have been. All right. Well, there's a handful here of books that I thought caught our attention being published this week, and were more like general fiction, or there might be a couple nonfiction in there. We shall see. First up, The Shape of What Remains by Lisa C. Taylor. Like all trauma, healing happens on its own timetable, often in surprising ways. Paralyzed by grief 10 years after witnessing the violent death of her 6-year-old daughter, Teresa Calvano returns to Chaucer, Janis Joplin, and a monthly book group to cope. What did 6-year-old Serena Calvano see that caused her to run into the road on a clear November morning while waiting for the school bus with her mother? Teresa Calvano has spent a decade blaming herself for Serena's violent death and wishing it was her husband, Luke, who was with Serena that day, so the guilt didn't fall so heavily on her shoulders. When her husband and friends lose patience with her failure to get back to life, Teresa turns to books, therapy, and Janis Joplin to address her continued unraveling. Is there a cure for grief? In Teresa's world, her research and life as a successful English professor fail to offer the one thing she most wants, another day with her 6-year-old daughter. Now, that would probably be a very tough read for some people, but also maybe very helpful. You never know. But I thought that was an important one to share. To Sicily with Love. Meet me in Italy, book number 4. I will meet you in Italy. I'll be in Rome. That's on my bucket list. I don't like traveling, but I would love to just spend time in Rome. This is by Jennifer Post. Aurora Rourke had it all together, loving parents, a steady relationship, and a promising career. But after she loses both parents unexpectedly, she can't seem to stay on track any longer. Lonely and lost after a public meltdown that threatens her professional credibility, she's shocked when DNA test results show a blood relative in Sicily. When her cousin reaches out online and begs her to come to Italy to meet everyone in person, Aurora makes the leap. Aurora arrives in Sicily for a month, and there she meets a colorful, dynamic family steeped in tradition. The younger generation is fascinated by her social media fame in America, and even though her grandparents have more traditional viewpoints, Aurora begins to heal from her grief and enjoys the attention of a kind and handsome Italian man. But when the summer ends, a new opportunity calls her back to the States, and her old habits threaten to reemerge. Will Aurora leave everything in Sicily she loves behind, or take the chance on a whole new future? Good questions. But never do the DNA tests. That corporate owns that sample and can sell it and do things with your DNA. And they have. The Day I Left You by Carolyn Bishop. Far cry from the cozies. Absolutely. Change of pace. You are correct. The Day I Left You by Carolyn Bishop. I'm sorry, I can't stay. East Berlin, 1982. When Greta Schneider meets Henry Henderson, she is instantly smitten. An engineer on a work visa from Britain, Henry offers Greta a taste of the world beyond the Iron Curtain, a world that she yearns to explore as a translator once she finishes university. For Henry, Greta is simply perfect, bold and beautiful, her lively and inquisitive nature adding a vital spark to his everyday life. But their time together is limited. Henry can't stay once his visa expires, and Greta is forbidden from going beyond the Berlin Wall. It's only been a few weeks, but they know how they feel about each other, so when Henry proposes, Greta accepts, and is given permission to start a new life with Henry in England. And for a time, everything is perfect, until one day, out of the blue, Greta walks out the door of their Oxford home, leaving a simple note behind. Decades later, Henry still has unanswered questions. Greta loved him, and he loved her. They surmounted the odds to be together, and in his heart he knows their marriage was happy. So why did she leave? How well did he really know his wife? When a young mother visits Henry's antique restoration shop, she unknowingly brings with her a clue that sends Henry on a journey to find out what happened to the love of his life all those years ago. Set against the backdrop of the Cold War, it's a story about the nature of love, the memories we cling to, and the hurts we must leave behind to move forward. That was a very interesting time. However, when the Berlin Wall fell, came down, why didn't he go looking for her sooner? And also, books like this is why I enjoy reading about murder. They're happier. If that makes any sense. General fiction is sometimes so angsty, and it just goes like, oh, and it brings you down. You read for enjoyment, but some people enjoy feeling angsty, I guess. I know, that's what I said. It takes decades for him to do that. Exactly. Wall came down shortly after that, dude. So this is a nonfiction one. Killer Story: The Truth Behind True Crime Television by Claire St. Amant. I thought that sounded interesting. Follow a journalist and TV producer from 48 Hours and 60 Minutes as she carves out a career in the ruthless, knives-out world of true crime television, one killer story at a time. Serial killers, homicidal spouses, sociopathic criminals. Claire St. Amant has met them all. She spent nearly a decade in network television chasing the biggest true crime stories in the country, including the murder of Chris Kyle, which is very sad. Steve met him 2 weeks before he was killed. Plastic surgeon turned murder for hire suspect Thomas Michael Dixon, the Parkland High School mass shooting, the disappearance of Christina Morris, and serial killer Samuel Little. Bringing a true crime story to network television requires quick thinking and tenacious stamina, and in her debut memoir, Claire offers true crime fans a rare in-depth look from the other side of the yellow tape. In this book, readers will learn what it really takes to get these gripping cases on the air with insights such as how it feels to share space with a dead-eyed murderer, which TV show has a reputation for eating their young, how reporters win over skeptical cops and reluctant lawyers, why TV journalists are always racing against the clock and competitor sabotage, what happens when a district attorney decides journalists have committed a felony, the unresolved crimes that still haunt Claire to this day. This eye-opening look behind the scenes of true crime television offers an unforgettable read and a window into the daily reality of investigative journalism. And it's Barbie pink cover. I think that's kind of humorous, but that sounded interesting. You don't really hear about that. This next one is another nonfiction. Jane Austen's Bookshelf, a rare book collector's quest to find the women writers who shaped a legend by Rebecca Romney. Rare book dealer and guest star of the hit show Pawn Stars, a page-turning literary adventure that introduces readers to the women writers who inspired Jane Austen and investigates why their books have disappeared from our shelves. Long before she was a rare book dealer, Rebecca Romney was a devoted reader of Jane Austen. She loved that Austen's books took the lives of women seriously, explored relationships with wit and confidence, and always allowed for the possibility of a happy ending. She read and reread them, often wishing Austen wrote just one more. Don't we all? But Austen wasn't a lone genius. She wrote at a time of great experimentation for women writers, and clues about those women and the exceptional books they wrote are sprinkled like breadcrumbs throughout Austen's work. Every character in Northanger Abbey who isn't a bore sings the praises of Anne Radcliffe. The play that causes such a stir in Mansfield Park is a real one by the playwright Elizabeth Inchbald. In fact, the phrase Pride and Prejudice comes from Frances Burney's second novel, Cecilia. The women that populated Jane Austen's bookshelf profoundly influenced her work. Austen looked up to them, passionately discussed their books with her friends, and used an appreciation of their books as a litmus test for whether someone had good taste. So where had these women gone? Why hadn't Romney, despite her training, ever read them, or in some cases even heard of them? And why were they no longer embraced as part of the wider literary canon? This book investigates the disappearance of Austen's heroes, women writers who were erased from the Western canon, to reveal who they were, what they meant to Austen, and how they were forgotten. Each chapter profiles a different writer, including Frances Burney, Anne Radcliffe, Charlotte Lennox, Charlotte Smith, Hannah More, Elizabeth Inchbald, Hester Lynch Thrale Piozzi, and Maria Edgeworth, and recounts Romney's experience reading them, finding rare copies of their works, and drawing on connections between their words and Austen's. Romney collects the once famed works of these forgotten writers, physically recreating Austen's bookshelf and making a convincing case for why these books should be placed back on the to-be-read pile of all book lovers today. This book will encourage you to look beyond assigned reading lists, question who decides what belongs there, and build your very own collection of favorite novels, which I thought was very, very cool. I actually have a book similar to that. Let's see if I can find it. It's called Not Just Jane. And I did start to read this. This is called Not Just Jane, Rediscovering 7 Amazing Women Writers Who Transformed British Literature. This is by Shelley DeWeese. It was published in 2016, and I got it in 2017. And each chapter, just like this other book, goes through different female writers. This one has Charlotte Turner Smith, Helen Maria Williams, Mary Robinson, Catherine Crowe, Sarah Coleridge, Dinah Mullock-Craik, and Mary Elizabeth Braddon. So between these two books, you can get 14 new female authors that were before Jane Austen or influenced her books, if you were so inclined. Mary says, that sounds like an interesting book from a different point of view for sure. Yep, that other one. Yep. So I thought that was very interesting. And our last one that I have bookmarked for today, this one is a novel. The Dressmakers of London by Julia Kelly. Isabel Shelton has always found comfort in the predictable world of her mother's dressmaking shop, Mrs. Shelton's Fashions, while her sister Sylvia turned her back on the family years ago to marry a wealthy doctor whom Izzy detests. When their mother dies unexpectedly, the sisters are stunned to find they've jointly inherited the family business. Izzy is determined to buy Sylvia out, but when she's conscripted into the WAAF, she's forced to seek Sylvia's help to keep the shop open. Realizing this could be her one chance at reconciliation with her sister, Sylvia is determined to save Mrs. Shelton's Fashions from closure and financial ruin. Through letters, the sisters begin to confront old wounds, new loves, and the weight of family legacy in order to forge new beginnings in this lyrically moving novel, perfect for fans of blah, blah, blah. I want to see, it mentions through letters. Is it an epistolary novel? I love those. Or are they just sprinkled through? Whoops, out. Looks like it's sprinkled throughout. Still, kind of interesting. Morning, Stormy. Happy Friday. You got snow, didn't you? Did I hear that? Sorry, needed a gulp of coffee there. We are currently like 26 degrees above. Yesterday we got into the mid-30s, and the 2 feet of snow we have is starting to melt. And we're supposed to be hitting mid-30s again today, and then we're in the 40s for the next possibly week to 10 days. So all this stuff is going to melt and be really icky. It's already being really slushy and icky. Mary, I'm warmer than you are. Holy moly. I'm glad you have heat now, thank God. Stormy says, yes, today is our first venture out. Ooh, be safe. Be safe out there. Well, that is all the books we have. We looked at everything, but I do have, if you wanted to take a look at the Cozy Mysteries or, scan through them, I'm going to put the link here. 6 degrees. Oh, You guys are south. That's crazy. Again, I'm warmer than you. Shock. So this is the Monday Amazon list that I work from, and it is public, so you can click on that link and look through all these listed here. Again, there weren't a whole lot. This was kind of a lull in the publishing, but there's stuff to scroll through. I'll leave this here until Sunday morning, and then I got to start working on next week's stuff. But I don't think anything here really caught my attention. No, I am marked safe from purchasing any of these, even though I'm somewhat slumpish. I don't know what. Hey, Crystal, how's it going? We're here for a couple more minutes. We'll wait for my alarm to go off, and then I have to head into work. And Crystal says, howdy, howdy, writers. And Mary asked where you are, Stormy. And Mary says, hi, Crystal. Elena says, thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Absolutely, sweetie. You take care, okay? Southwest Missouri is where Storm is. And Mary says, yes, you have homework. I do have homework. And Mary, wow, Storm, that seems incredible. Yes. And Mary's in Virginia, so you guys are, this is unusual for you, but you know, it's weather. Weather does this. We don't usually get this much snow here in Billings. We are somewhat of the banana belt in Montana, but about every 10 years, we get dumped on snow. I remember one 15 years ago, and somebody else mentioned there was one about 8 to 10 years ago. I can't remember that one, but this is our year to get dumped on. And now it's all going to melt, which is great, but then there's flooding. There's our bell. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out this morning. Next week, we'll be looking at a new batch of books being published. Next week, we'll be starting Monday with the Cozy Mysteries then. Hey, you. There we go. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight, but I will have sprints tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and those go for 5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project like I'll be doing. I'll be working on the crocheting the wedding blanket. Or if you just want to have it in the background as you're being productive, or listen to the ambiance if you want to take a nap, perfectly okay. And Stormy says it's supposed to get up to 30 today, warm as it's been all week. Ugh. It's coming your way, though. If it's hitting me, it's going to be hitting you guys. Crystal says hi to Mary. Crystal is tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for 5 hours. Crystal says happy to see y'all. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so, you know, we do 8 shows a week, 3 sprints and 8 morning shows. Mary says, thanks so much for this week of good reads. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yes, and it looked like, Mary, that Randy's doing her morning show today. So hopefully we'll see you there. Everybody, please be safe, be warm where you are, read good books, and as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Have a good day and God bless. And Keo says, let's go.